tomorrow. Clouds and sunshine with some thunderstorms on 69. Sunday, a morning shower, otherwise clouds, high 74.
And as advertised, we have Veronica Reeker with us at this point in time. And I think anybody that knows me knows that I'm tied into that family because of your father. Okay. And Veronica, first of all, it is wonderful to have you along with us here today.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's you know what, you are the talented one of the bunch here as far as when it comes to your dad. I know he's talented, but you know, we don't want to give him a big head here or anything like that. We want to make sure that we have him all squared away here a little bit. How's that? Is that a good idea? I think that's a really good idea that we keep him that way. Keep him on these toes just a little bit that way.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, because he already is a pretty talented fella, and he gets a lot of credit for that.
Anyway. We're still getting compliments for our Christmas lights. So.
Oh man, yeah, exactly. For anybody that didn't see the Christmas lights, holy smokes, you guys had really the best display of Christmas lights anywhere in the area here this past year.
Oh, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Now the brainchild behind that was Dad, right?
It was.
Okay.
It was all Dad.
Was there family members that were involved, or did you, like normal family members, go, come on, Dad, gee, many
Oh, that was all of us, especially my mom.
And your mom did a pretty good job of that, too. She was...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She is always, they always say, behind any great man, right? There you go, is somebody that's kind of directed him, and that's what Lisa does right now.
Oh, for sure. She appreciate that. Yeah.
She keeps him on the straight and narrow, I know. And if you don't do that, you've got trouble right
She tries her best.
And that's full-time work because he hangs out with me. Okay,
oh.
So I try to be that influence on the other side.
So that's why.
Yeah. So if you ever wonder why your dad acts every now and then the way that he does,
I can blame you.
Yeah, you can probably remember the conversations you and I've had, and you go, "Oh, Funderburg."
Oh man,
I know. That's okay. I've been blamed.
It all
that
makes
way.
sense now.
It does make sense now. Hey, welcome in. You've had a busy time since we saw you. It's been almost a year ago since you were here. I think it's been a while. So
it has. Wow, it has been a while.
Yeah, because you were going. I think you were on your way to school or home for one of the breaks or whatever the last time.
Last time I was home was Christmas break, so it's definitely been a few months.
Yeah, it has been a while. How did everything go?
Oh, it's gone great. The last semester flew by so fast with finals and my junior recital, which went flawlessly. I couldn't have asked for a better day or a better supporting group of people that came. I had quite a bit of auditions, and I was really pleased with all of their results. One of them led me to where I'm going this summer, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a great semester.
For folks who don't know, bring us back up to speed. Where are you studying right now?
I'm studying at the Boston Conservatory in Boston, Massachusetts.
Okay.
It's great. It's full-on music all the time, and I couldn't picture myself nurturing and growing in such a way in any other place. It's fabulous.
Yeah, and you're about to be a senior, so you've been there for 3 years already.
I know, it's sad.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Some of the experiences you've had there since, because I know you've been to Europe. Have you not in the summertime? You spent a summer in Europe one time?
Yeah, I went to Europe. I've performed with different churches. I got to sing in Symphony Hall with my choir group. Had tons of solo opportunities, tons of outreach programs, and it's been definitely a growing 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, your goal, once you finish your education, because you're hopeful to go to grad school of your choice here soon after your senior year, but your goal when everything's done is what, Veronica?
Is to be able to make a living off of what I love to do, which is singing. So whether the goal is opera. I love opera very much. I love classical music. That's what I'm majoring in. But if that happens to be Broadway, or if that happens to be also teaching, or if that happens to be all three combined, that's what I want to do. It would be fun to travel. I'd love to go to Germany, where the arts are just overwhelming in Germany. They are so supported in Germany, and that would be amazing to be able to go there and branch out into opera in Germany. But yeah, that's my goal.
Now, opera in Germany, do you have to know German at that point in time?
You should be able to understand and speak some of the languages. I mean, opera is primarily in French, Italian, German, or English.
Okay.
So you should be able to understand and, be fluent in some of the languages. I'm to the point where I can read it all pretty accurately.
Can you
Just have to work on the translation part.
That's
but
amazing.
yeah.
So you can read German, French, Italian,
and English.
I have
The
a hard
hardest
time,
one, right?
I have a hard time with English.
Oh,
okay?
me too.
And the other three you might as well forget about. Okay.
English is very difficult.
Is it the hardest of the three?
It really is. To sing in English is very challenging, and I don't know why. Maybe because it's my own language.
Yes.
But yeah.
That's hard to imagine. So you
Right?
took to the other three. How do you
Yeah.
learn? How do you learn an opera in German or any other foreign language? How do you deal with that?
Well, you use IPA, which is an international alphabet, phonetic
Okay.
alphabet, full of different symbols, and all the symbols mean the same thing all throughout, no matter where you're at. Open E is an open E. And once you figure out the different rules for that, you can transcribe the words into the symbols and then
Okay.
pronounce it.
Okay.
And then once you have written out the full translation, you go back and you sing the opera in its translation.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah.
How long does it take you? I mean, the very first time you sat down and tried to do this thing, that had to be a chore.
That was between my senior year of high school. I was a part of the Toledo Opera Chorus's production of Faust.
Okay.
So that sitting down and transcribing the French and learning the French itself and then going back and learning what was going on during everything in English was very challenging. But thank goodness opera is very repetitive.
Okay. All
Very
right.
repetitive. So
Sure.
you catch on to different things, and then that's also how you learn the language is by transcribing different phrases and, like this means that and etc.
So if we sat you down right now in France or in Italy or in Germany, you could relatively hold your own with a conversation. At least you'd get me some lunch, a hamburger, and some fries.
I would definitely be able to read you the menu and tell you what the person was saying, but not. I'm still working on figuring out the word structure of sentences and where the nouns and adjectives go, and it's a little different than English.
That is amazing.
Call me up in a year.
I'll call you up in a year. You've got a year for your senior year. You got a couple years for grad school. So I'll give you 3 more.
All right,
How's that? Is that
sounds
better?
a lot better. Yeah.
I think at that point in time, you're probably you'll be able to take me wherever I want and get me a milkshake too, along with those fries and those and that burger.
Sounds good.
That sounds like fun. Describe for us and anybody listening what a normal year is like for you. You go to school like your senior year. What are you looking forward to? What are some of the classes you'll take and some of the things you'll be doing?
Sure. So junior and senior year at the Boston Conservatory is more directed towards your major. So for me, that is opera performance. Freshman and sophomore year are more directed towards the necessary classes you have to take, such as ear training, harmony and counterpoint, and music history, which I just finished my last semester of music history.
Okay.
And next year will be more towards performance, as this year was also. So I'll get to take vocal pedagogy. We'll also be studying French and French diction class. There's also a movement class. I'm also taking atonal ear training, and I'm also taking, what is it? It's how you analyze atonal music, which should be interesting. Atonality is music that doesn't have any sense of a key. So
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
What is atonal music there? Okay.
Yeah. So anything by Schoenberg, you could look up, and it might sound a little funky.
Okay.
Or Berg's Wozzeck, which is an opera. It's entirely atonal. So it's cool.
That's
it's
amazing.
interesting. But yeah, so it's lots of performance. I'll still be in a choir next year, which I love.
Okay.
And lots of auditions next year and preparing for grad school and learning new music and preparing for my senior recital, which I do by myself.
Yeah. Now, okay, talk to me here. How do you get into grad school? I mean, most people, they struggle through about 7 years of normal college. Okay.
College is hard.
And then they know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that gets them into grad school. That's the way the Funderdome tradition is. How's that? Okay. But it doesn't work that way in what you're doing, does it, huh?
I mean, the more people that you know, obviously, the better off you are. But grad school is the same as undergrad, so I'll have to create a pre-screening tape, which consists of the requirements for that grad school. Some of them are different. Some of them are the same. Normally, they want 5 to 6 arias, possibly a few art songs thrown in there, all different languages. And then based on that pre-screening tape, you will either be accepted or denied to come for a live audition.
Okay.
And then you will have to go to the location. So for undergrad, that was very interesting because we were traveling every weekend mostly to New York or to Boston, one to Philadelphia, one here in Ohio. And then after that, after you sing for them live, you have to wait to hear. And it's either a yes or a no. Usually there's money involved, which is nice.
Yes.
Grades do matter for grad school.
Okay.
Obviously, the higher your grades are, the more they realize you're a working student. So that matters.
Yes.
But yeah.
But I would have to think that your presentation and your voice and all those things would weigh in almost as much as your grades were.
Oh, more so.
Yeah.
More so. A lot of places did not even look at ACT scores for undergrad.
Sure.
So, which was nice because you are your instrument and you are how you present yourself. So.
Yeah. Thank goodness Ohio University didn't look at my ACT scores when they decided
to
let me in. Yeah. I think they were about the lowest. I mean, I can't remember what they were anymore, but if it was a 10, I was at about a 2. How's that?
Oh,
but I was very
it
charming
and
I had enough money and they took me in anyway. How's that?
Charming?
Yeah, that was it. I charmed them. That was it. More realistically, they needed the money, Veronica, is what they needed back in the day.
Unfortunately, that's the case. Yeah.
That was the case. So grad schools that you'd like to attend and at the end of your senior year, where would you like to go?
My goal is New York City. That's where everything is happening, all at once. And my top place is probably the New School of Music, Manus.
Okay.
Then from there, I plan on auditioning for obviously all the big ones like Juilliard, Curtis Institute, which is in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Probably somewhere in California. There's a conservatory out there in, I believe, Southern Cali that's supposed to be really, really good. And then probably Manhattan School of Music, maybe NYU. I haven't really looked into all of them yet, but I definitely have my top 3 picked out.
Yeah, okay. Now, you said Manus and you said the new school. Is that a new school or is that all part of the title of
No,
Manus?
it's all the title. So there's the New
Sure.
School of Music, but they have different branches of their
Okay.
college. So, for example, my brother is looking into design and possibly something with computers and graphics. So he could go to the new school for that. And then I could go to their branch called Manus for opera.
There you go.
So
now the key that we have here between your dad and I, do they have a football team that we can come do the ball games
I don't believe
for?
they have a football team.
Darn. I was really hopeful that we could come do the play-by-play for the football and the basketball, and maybe a little softball and baseball.
Well, I'm looking at Boston University's opera intensive for grad school, and BU has a football team. So
there we go.
There you go.
So if you go there, okay, remember the little guys here, okay, and pull some strings so your dad and I can come.
So you can come do the football.
You bet. We'll do the games. He wants to see you. Your mom will come along. The whole thing works out extremely well.
There we
go. We've got it all planned right now.
My brother's looking at Bentley University, which is also in Boston, so the whole gang will be there.
There you go. We can bring Nick in. He can run a camera for us. The gang's back together all of a sudden.
Wonderful.
Veronica Rieker is our guest right now. We need to step away, Veronica, and take care of money. You talked money a minute ago. We also have to take care of money here. They're called commercials, so we'll play a few commercials. When we come back, I want to get into what you have going on this summer. And also, we have a piece that your father sent over to us so that the folks that are listening right now can hear your lovely voice, because you really do a wonderful job.
Thank you.
It's a lot of fun to listen to. So we'll be back with more with Veronica Rieker here right after this.
it's done right the first time. It's been my experience. And it's done economically. So, from my perspective, why wouldn't
Bye, Facebook. Thank you for joining me today. Stay tuned for more information about my summer.
And we're back here with Veronica Reeker, and we're doing a little live streaming here. So Veronica's doing some Facebook Live. Is that what we're into right now? Oh,
Yeah.
The new technology, man. I'll tell you what. I love this stuff. Back in the day, you put this on a big old reel-to-reel tape. And then basically you had to play it back later and send it to somebody or whatever. But right now we're live and direct. Everybody can watch us and
Yeah.
hear the tape. It's awesome, isn't it? Huh?
It is.
I know
yeah.
there have been, because we've seen several of your performances live as you're doing them, whether it was in Boston or wherever you might have been. Because you were either streaming or your folks were there or whatever. So it really is kind of fun to be able to follow your career when you're that far away.
Oh, it's amazing how far technology has come,
Yes.
We were able to live stream my junior recital, which was crazy.
Yes.
All the way back to little Bryan, Ohio. Everybody could see it. Anybody that clicked on the link.
Isn't that amazing?
And there I was, yeah.
And then you came back. Was that at Christmas time that you did the show at the?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That was
church.
so much fun.
Yeah, and that was absolutely a packed house that night.
It was entirely filled. I felt very, very blessed to have such a supportive community, and that a whole experience was so rewarding, and we definitely plan on doing something like that in the far future.
Okay.
Take a little break, but we love to come back and do something even bigger, and to have just as many people involved as we possibly could. I really think that's what made it such a special night, was the community.
Yes.
So,
Veronica, your father sent me over a piece here that you'll need to set up for me here. When did you sing this? Did he share with you?
He did. Is this Emily's Goodbye aria?
Yes. There you go. Yes.
Yeah. So this was my latest solo performance that I did at my studio recital.
Okay.
My teacher is Patty Tom at Boston, and I love her so much. And this aria is taken from. It was originally a play called Our Town, which was written by Thornton Wilder in the 1930s. Mm-hmm. And then Ned Rorem fell in love with the play itself and wrote it into an opera, still called Our Town.
Okay.
This takes place in Grover's Corners, New Hampshire, in 1901. And it basically just describes the small town and its everyday people through everyday people. My character is Emily. And this takes place in the final act, and I have died during childbirth.
Okay.
And she basically appears on the stage, and she realizes that she's dead, and she wants to return home for a brief second just to see her mom again, her dad, her husband. And when she returns home, she realizes that everybody's just going on about their lives willy-nilly. Nobody really cares about the time that they're wasting, and she asks for the stage manager to take her back, and this is basically her last song that she sings to Earth.
Wonderful.
So, yeah.
All right, let's listen to Veronica Reeker here on the cue. All right. How do you do that, man? How do you sing like that? I mean, come on. That's Amazing, Victoria. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you. As we talked off air.
Did you call me Victoria?
I did. I just called you. I knew I was going to do that. I said that, Veronica. I said that. You'll understand now what your dad goes through all the time, because I never goof up. I never goof up Reeker though. How's that?
That's bravo to you.
I call him Richard. I don't mess up his name, Ken. How's
we
that?
got that on Facebook Live too.
Yeah, he'll just go. That's Funderburg again. Veronica, I'm sorry. I knew I was going to do that.
That's A-okay.
You have to understand one thing. There's one living brain cell left between my ears right now. Okay, and I knew I was going to do that.
Oh, that's not true. Oh, that's so funny.
So before it's done, I'll call you Victoria Richer before it's over and done with.
Oh,
that's a little inside joke between your dad and Jimmy Bellamy and myself. How's
that?
Man,
Victoria Richer.
That could be your stage name.
Hey,
this could be something new. Now, if you make millions of dollars as Victoria Richer, okay,
I will give you the credit.
I need a little credit on this whole thing. How's that? I was thinking money, though. I was thinking monetary.
You were, yeah.
At least some lunch. At least that hamburger and fries.
Oh, okay. Right. In France, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Veronica, I don't know how you do something like that. How do you sing like that, I guess?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people have asked me, can people be trained to sing? Mm-hmm. And sure. I really think the answer is yes. I really think unless you are obviously tone deaf, which is a real thing. If you're tone deaf, you can't hear pitches.
Sure.
But I really think that no matter what the style is, I think people can be trained to sing. And this is what my voice was meant to do, how God made my vocal cords. This is what they wanted to do, and I've worked really hard and still not there yet. But yeah.
Now I asked you off mic, and I'll ask you again. I mean, there's a song that Harry Chapin did about Mr. Tanner, who was he was an opera. He was basically a dry cleaner
mm-hmm.
From Dayton, Ohio, and it's a real story. Okay,
mm-hmm.
and he wanted to be an opera singer. All
mm-hmm.
right. And he got his opportunity, and Harry Chapin actually saw the critique of his performance
mm-hmm.
In the back of the New York Times, okay? And
mm-hmm.
they basically told him that, full-time consideration of another endeavor might be in order, was the line for that whole thing.
Wow.
But his comment at that point in time was, and part of the song was, whenever he sang, he only heard the flaws. I
mm-hmm.
mean, do you only hear the flaws when you sing? Because obviously everybody hits a sour note every now and then, or doesn't do exactly the way that they want to do.
Of course. I listen to Emily's Goodbye Aria and always hear things that I can improve on and things that I'm still working on. But, this career is very lonely, especially if you only focus on the negatives of not only your performance, but of other people's performances. If you're one of those critics that just puts your colleagues down to try and boost yourself up, you're not going to get very far.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I always try and pick out the positives before I go through the negatives. And same with all of my colleagues' performances. If it's a class where we are able to give feedback to them, all the comments are always very uplifting and very supportive. Even if that note at the end wasn't in tune, nobody brings it up because
sure.
The performer knows what they need to work on.
Yeah.
So it's nice to hear positivity.
It's a very, very difficult and
mm-hmm.
demanding job that you're undertaking, I would think.
It is. I mean, you are your instrument. So the way that the foods you put into your body, the way that you choose to live your lifestyle, if you're inactive, that's going to directly affect your voice.
Sure.
So you carry your instrument around with you all day long.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
It really is, yeah.
And you would think that it would be very competitive, okay,
as
you're going through this, that there would be that competition and there would be those put downs and there would be your fellow classmates who would try to get an edge at some point in time, somehow.
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's always those people that, like to push their way to the top, but eventually they realize they're the only one standing up there,
yes.
and they get discouraged and fall back down. So you can't do that. It's a cycle. But Boston Conservatory has been one of the most supporting and loving, encouraging environments, and that's one reason why I love the school so much.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I can believe that. Now you have a very exciting summer ahead.
I do.
Tell the folks about that.
I do. So over the course of last semester, I decided to audition for several YAP programs, which stand for Young Artist Programs.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, young artist programs recognize young, upcoming, promising talent within the opera industry.
Okay.
So it's a very big deal and very crucial to your development to be able to be a part of these. And I got into one. I'm going to opera in the Ozarks in Ozarks, Arkansas.
Okay.
And it's an 8-week camp. And it is for professionals. I'm in the youngest division. So I'm in the undergraduate division. Then there's a graduate division. And then there's young professionals, which are out of school and they're getting paid to be there. So that's like the goals, you know.
Okay. All right.
But I get to be a part of all of their main stage operas. So I'm involved with Carmen, and I'm involved in Le Nozze di Figaro. And I'm also in their outreach program. Their opera is Jack and the Beanstalk, and I got cast as Jack, which is really exciting. So I
Okay.
get to play a boy.
Okay. That's not uncommon though in opera, right?
It's very common, especially for smaller operas and especially for mezzos. I'm not a mezzo, but if you're a mezzo, you will definitely be cast as a pants role.
Okay.
But yeah, and on top of those 3 productions, we also have an opera scenes program. There's also tons of solo opportunities, and it's just, I mean, I look at the schedule and I'm like, wow, it's gonna be very busy, and the chorus for Carmen is very involved, and there's still different chorus things and different parts of the operas that they're assigning, so that could also be exciting. And I'm really looking forward to working with the directors there and the coaches, and it should be fun.
Yes, that sounds like a lot of fun. It really does. Sounds like a wonderful summer for you.
Yeah, it'll be a growing summer for sure.
Now, you're going to the Ozarks, though. You've been to Europe before in the summer. I mean,
Yeah.
it might be a little culture shock down there.
It might be, but I've looked at pictures and the mountains look beautiful. I've already made friends who want to go hiking.
Okay.
So it looks like a secluded area to be able to do what we love to do together. So
I'll tell you what. One more year of regular school,
Mm-hmm.
couple years of grad school. Promise that you'll come back and talk to me some more, even though I call you Victoria every now and then.
Oh, I'm going to bring that up every time.
That's okay.
Every time.
And I'll probably call you Victoria every time at least once, because that's
That's
the way
okay.
I've got that dead spot in that one brain cell that every now and then it comes out the wrong way.
It's close
Veronica.
enough. Close enough.
It is sad. Well, thank you for your time. We really,
Of course.
really are proud of what you're doing.
Thank you.
And you do a wonderful job. And again, please come back and see us.
Oh, I
okay?
definitely will. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Veronica Rieker has been our guest here in the noon hour. We're going to pay some more bills. When we come back, we'll wrap everything up here on the Q and close the doors to the Dome here at Q96.5.
Minor repairs, total collisions.